Bison's abilities revealed. Raasclark devs confirm some big changes. And Aberration coming to astray us with maybe Reapers? You're right, kids, it's Raasclark, and welcome to your regular ARK community news. Before we begin, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, share around, and let's get into it. So arriving to us with Community Crunch 457, a bunch of Bison details have been dropped, confirming that milk is most definitely on the cards. Milking is going to be a bull-explosive feature, but just make sure you're milking the right bull, because it's going to be the female one, of course. Revealed in some brand new artwork, I'm guessing made by the wonderfully talented Mr. Fuego once again, we can see a pack of them all charging the screen all at once, looking mean, hairy, and keen to take the Unreal 5 remastered revision of Raasclark. With some difficulty myself picking apart what's female, what's male here, but the Crunch explains, whilst his nursing counterpart may be busy feeding the next generation, this stubborn slab of muscle is more interested in clearing out threats with sheer brute force, confirming, yes, females, nursing counterparts, there's milk from the female versions of these, and the male versions are going to do something different. If we read on, the Crunch explains to expect a lot of headbutts, ground-shaking stomps, and an unrelenting drive to protect his herd no matter the odds. Throwing in a bit of stare down and tossing aloes off cliffs, it seems to allude that this male counterpart may have some new form of knockback ability, or maybe a pierce and throw ability, maybe a bit like the Karkinos. Either way, it sounds like there's going to be some way to make sure creatures are keeping their distance, and I'm really hoping it is related to the horns. They're a bit spiky. They look like they would pierce something, and I can see something like that, maybe kind of stabbing, getting it stuck on its horns like a Kentro and then throwing it out into the abyss, or maybe it's just simply a cheeky giant knockback. Either way, it's good to hear there's going to be two genders, and the female's going to be the one that you're going to be milking. And what is the milk going to do? Is it going to be simply just a wyvern variant of the milk that you know, and that does the milk that you know with the wyvern milk? Or is it going to offer brand new abilities? We talked about this previously, with perhaps the milk offering some improved maturation with their calcium being heightened with, of course, milk. Or perhaps just simply a more nourishing type of food, think like kibble that feeds baby at slower rates than meat and berries. Either way, it's coming, and still coming on June the 2nd, with this image revealing the doggo possibly arriving to Raasclark as well. Though I don't know whether this is simply just an aesthetic part of the artwork, because, you know, farms, bulls, herd, dogs, all kind of links together pretty well there. And while the armor doggo was part of the Bob's Tall Tales Extinction DLC, and feels a bit jarring to pull that away from the map that it's meant to be exclusive as part of that DLC 4. But then again, who knows? Maybe they will, maybe they won't. Either way, I don't think it's that big of a deal. Whilst maybe Wildcard are going to try and push that doggo for you to use because they do like the doggo and it's a cool enough creature, it's not exactly a game-breaking OP creature looking at things like the Pyromane. So I'm not too bothered about this if it arrives to Raasclark or not, though. Talking of which, the Pyromane, please don't add it. Like, I know there's a lava biome and it's going to happen because it's on center, but don't do it, man. Keep the Pyromane off, please, for crying out loud. Do it. And speaking of fantastic tames, it was mentioned in the original roadmap announcement earlier this year that when Raasclark arrives, there would be a fantastic tame dropping with that. So I think at least that offers even more weight to not put the Pyromane on Raasclark, and fingers crossed this is something a bit more balanced. And well, speaking of balancing, the original devs of Raasclark kind of gate-crashed Flinger Foo stream recently. Jackson Lawrence, who was well known for doing streaming himself after dropping Raasclark and in the process of making a map called Apex that was promising a bunch of interesting features that we never got to see in the end, unfortunately. I think maybe this was owed to them being hired by a wildcard, not exactly sure, and it's a shame we never got to see a few of these things, but, you know, talent is what talent does, and wildcard hired them to help to bring later maps to ARK, and well, one of them did leave and then recently got re-employed for their combined vision to make the ASA version of Raasclark the version I'm sure they wanted it to always be. Well, anyway, in jumping into Flinger Foo's live stream, Jackson Lawrence mentioned, hey, I got your name added to the Raasclark name wall. Do you have a Discord by chance I can PM about adding anyone else you'd like from your community? A massive win for Flinger Foo there. If you don't know, there's a cool, awesome room not too far from the Wyvern Cove, where in the original ASE version of Raasclark, it was a bunch of supporters all listed there name by name, and it seems they're bringing in creators to be added to this shrine room too. Fingers crossed we make the cut, I don't know, hopefully. But then found himself in a bit of a mini Q&A whilst there, and it was cool to answer a few questions, including confirmation on baby griffins that they're going to be coming, and Jackson was happy to talk about that. And I think a lot of people took that as, oh, are we going to get wildfire babies coming to Ragnarok? Because this was after the news of having breedable griffins, and I can see why maybe people were putting 2 and 2 together with this one. But Jackson Lawrence is simply just confirming baby griffins. I would take this as just bred baby griffins and not finding them in nests in the wild, as we've been hoping for so long, and they've been almost teased every map. And don't forget, there was actually planned to be dropping in at some point. We questioned Jeremy about that during the Extra Live stream last year, and he did say this year at some point they're going to try and bring them in. There's just some weird, difficult, technical things to navigate there. But I don't know, man. We've been hoodwinked with Extinction and the Snow Owls and that trailer. I'm going to take this one with some reservation and think perhaps Jackson was just confirming that baby griffins are there and didn't actually see the crunch himself, possibly. But then went on to answer a few other questions regarding Ragnarok and how different could it be looking. That in fact, some caves in particular, looking at the waterfall cave in the Highlands, that they were actually planning to change that quite a bit. And Jackson Lawrence, wanting to recapture the magic of what they had with the ASE version of it, actually went back and reversed a lot of that work to keep it close to the original. Going on to say that they're trying to find a balance with the old caves, but naturally seems to be the case that they are looking at caves in Ragnarok and making sure that balance is there for PvP. But they went on to say that the ASA's version of the Labyrinth, which is quite a tasking artifact run in itself if you've ever done that, with 4 potential artifacts up for grabs, but a lot of puzzles and a lot of depth if you're going to venture in there, so needing to be prepared. They're going to make that a lot easier, apparently. Easier Labyrinth, but with higher stakes this time around. I guess whatever you're going in with, be prepared to maybe lose it, but with a wonder of how easier it's going to be. Moving on to say significant changes are coming in some ways, explaining wyverns in particular, the ice wyvern, they're definitely looking at revising in how you get eggs there, with the possibility of a new wyvern trench now digging its way through the murder snow, but some new bonus features for the ice wyvern on top, but they're going to leave it a secret for now, with me speculating maybe we'll see it work a bit more like an aircon, refrigerating things when you put stuff inside it, act like a refrigerator for that, like we got with the Fenrir before, or the aircon idea. I love the aircon idea. In fact, that wasn't even my idea originally. Somebody else suggested that, and I think that would be a great feature on top because, you know, it blows cold air and aircon makes sense, right? Either way, it's still on track, still dropping on June the 2nd, so fingers crossed that date makes it. But yet again, no Unreal 5.5 announcement. I'm getting very concerned. We're going to get this engine upgrade at the very same time Ragnarok drops, because this is made in Unreal 5.5, so the upgrade has to come at some point when before Ragnarok, or maybe at the same time. I'm going to take a stab. We'll be seeing it on the same day, though I really hope that isn't the case, because I'm sure there'll be some teething issues when that happens. But something else that's happening, Aberration on Australia, it's coming at some point. Did you forget? I kind of forgot. And then the Cartus reminded us on Twitter. Posted some pictures of what to expect when we get the Aberration extension to Australia when that arrives. Looking nice, looking like the Aberration that we know. We can see Ravagers, we can see maybe an aberrant stego, though it does look like a normal stego there. But mushroom, vines, undercave, bioluminescence. With Nakatas teasing this next major update also comes with many bigger and smaller caves full of resources and dangers. And with Nakatas mentioning this is the next major update, is this part of the extension up in the northeast corner, that whole giant island up there, with a snowy surface to initially explore with extinction creatures, and underground underneath that, this Aberration extension that may include Reapers too, though maybe next year, so it's going to be some time if we ever do see these on Australia. With Nakata seeming to have some difficulty transitioning the Aberration-like biomes because apparently they're really hard to make look good. It's a wonder if this map extension will add the third boss required to get the dragon unlocks, as we're hoping Nakatas has planned. Either way, it has been confirmed, though there won't be any ascension with Australia, so don't be looking forward to any tech cave there. Nakatas did originally say that this Australia's update would be dropping at some point after Ragnarok, and it's seemingly still going to be the case, so it'll come when it comes, hopefully sometime during the summer, and of course looking forward to it. Can't wait to check out another biome, adding to already a massive map full of them as it is. And I'll leave you with this, another mod showcase by the talented team over there, showing off the latest and greatest mods being added to ARK with some interesting additions. Bay as Conan the Barbarian, ancient wyvern costumes, big giant sword compensating for something, and mullets, because mullets. So how are you feeling about this one, knowing that you're going to be milking the right type of bull and you're not going to get it wrong because the other one does something else? And are you looking forward to it? It's coming around pretty soon. Fingers crossed. This is a big one. It feels like a big one with the original devs revising this one, making it the vision that they want it to be. I get a feeling this is going to be the first ASE to ASA transition where we see some actual real changes to the map. By the way, the devs are talking, though, if there's any map I'd picked that needs any sort of changes, it probably wouldn't be this at all, but looking forward to it all the same. Are you? Until the next one, my name is Raasclark. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and as always, peace out.